Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie. And tonight I'm bringing on a very good friend of mine. I've known this gentleman for a long time. I've known his family for a long time. As long as I've been doing Stogie Press, I've known this family. I'm going to bring on Radhames Rodriguez. We like to affectionately call him Ram. He is the owner of Artista Cigars and runs Tabacalera El Artista in the Dominican Republic. This is a vertically integrated company, everything from fields to factory processing facilities. They have their own line of cigars. They make a lot of cigars for a lot of other small companies that you probably smoke and don't even realize it. We're going to bring Ram in right now and get this show rolling. Ram, welcome to Taking It to the Nub.
How's it going, Jimmy? Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Happy to be here.
It's been a year or two since you've been on, and I'm so happy you're on again because it's always a pleasure seeing your happy face because you make me smile when I see you for some reason. I don't know. You're just a happy guy.
Thank you. Thank you. Before anything, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You look like at least 10 years younger, my friend.
Well,
Jesus Christ. Congratulations.
I posted out the other day a picture of me from like late 2019, early 2020. It was 2020, back in the heat of the pandemic, when my wife called me Dirty Santa. It was right around the Christmas time. My beard was out like this. My hair was down to here. It was all gray. It was all like weird. My face was fat. And it was funny, but it wasn't funny because I put on way too much weight through that pandemic, and I realized that I was drinking too heavily. A lot of people were, and I said, no, I've got to stop this. So I'm down to just my Saturday glass of wine and smoking my cigars, and my doctor is very happy that I'm doing this. Not to mention that I exercise 3-4 times a week too. So 75 pounds down, fit, good. And yeah, when you lose weight and you feel good, I think you look good.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. You look happy. It's amazing. It's inspiring.
It is good. And I hope I am a little bit of an inspiration. I do have people asking me that, but thank you for that compliment. It makes me feel that it's a good thing that I'm doing. But with me feeling good and looking good, I was looking in my humidor today, and I realized that I either have smoked probably all of my El Artistas or gave them in different giveaways throughout the year, okay, to winners of my Take It to the Nub Wow Factor show. So, but I did find, speaking of looking good, a fugly.
Yeah.
What are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking like a random cigar out of the factory that I have no idea what it is, but it's so far so good. Very good cigar.
Explain to the audience what it is I'm smoking. So for those that don't know, we're going to get deep. We're going to get deeper into El Artista and Artista Cigars, but this is something you all came out with a few years ago called the Fugly. So explain to people what a Fugly is.
Okay, so the people that already know a little bit about me, the factory, my team, Kevin Newman, my VP, know that we don't like to decorate things too much, so no horses riding on a tobacco field or anything like that. so what happened is that kind of cigars, like Chirut, like here we call them perritos, like little dogs, basically. That used to be what farmers used to smoke here in the Dominican Republic and it was extremely popular. There's still a couple of people that still smoke it, but in the late 70s is when cigarettes became a thing on this island, and the perritos lost popularity over cigarettes. So all of this concept was inspired more or less on that, and also the fact that cigar rollers, first thing they do in the morning is that they take their pile of fillers, they start inspecting every single one of them just to see which one is the better leaf. They roll a little ugly ass cigar, and that's their morning cigar. That's usually the tradition of most of the cigar rollers. And they kind of look like the fugly as well, like a little cheroot. Uh,
But
that
it's
was
not it's not a binder filler wrapper combination, right?
no. It's just filler and binder. That's how the cigar rollers do it. This one is a filler and wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably like 2 months and a half before PCA. In that particular year, that was like 4 years ago, maybe, or
Yeah,
five.
this has been laying around for a while.
Yeah. I had some little chirus like that because they're convenient. I really like having them around. For me, it's such a pity to throw away cigars just because you're in a rush. Sometimes you're at the airport, you get a cigar, you cannot smoke the whole thing because you need to check in again, whatever. So I usually, this is very regular, I smoke little cheruts like that. And I was with Kevin on a meeting, and we were like, dude, we should start selling these these cigars. Like, oh no, man, they're ugly. And I was like, no, they're not ugly. They're fugly. He was not happy. He was like, dude, like, let's focus. You're all over the place. Let's focus on what we're releasing, whatever. Like, man, like take it easy. We're gonna do this. Do your thing. Focus in all your marketing and everything. I want the focus to be out. So since everybody was printed already for the PCA, I was like, this is our secret menu item. Where in these fast food restaurants where there's always supposed to be like a hidden item in the menu that nobody knows. Well, we didn't have it in the price list of PCA or anything like that. But people saw them. They, for some reason, they were like, oh, this is interesting. And it became a thing. So it's premium tobaccos, 100% premium tobaccos, full of ligero, quite a kick on the cigar. And it's perfect. It's a perfect dog walker. It's a perfect cigar to smoke at the airport. In winter time where it's way too cold outside, this is a good cigar for that. And the best thing about it is the price. MSRP is only $3.50, I think it is. So yeah, it's a good deal.
Well, Artista Cigars has been very good with their pricing, right? Because you are a vertically integrated company, right? You've got tobacco fields, you have processing facilities, you have storage, you have distribution, you've got it all in your operations. And just like the Buffalo 10 is a perfect example, a fine cigar that doesn't break the wallet. I mean, think about that. How is that line selling for you?
It's been doing great, man. And yeah, we try to be fair with our pricing. And basically, when you buy a cigar from an artista, you're buying almost directly to the factory. So we get to be very competitive. We grow our tobacco not only here in the Dominican Republic but in Ecuador as well. We do our own sorting. We have our own wooden box factory, our own logistics company, our operations in the United States as well. So we basically, do a little bit of everything. and that's been very helpful to be out there with cigars with a lot of value, which, by the way, is always a big challenge, because for example, Buffalo 10 kind of became a staple for Artista. And now every time that we are releasing a product, we are analyzing the cost. One of the first questions that comes out is like, okay, so this is gonna cost X amount of money to the final customer. Is as good or better than Buffalo 10? That is always, so it's tough. It's tough, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, you set a bar with a quality, economically priced cigar that going forward, anything new is going to be judged against that. But you've come out with other fine cigars. I mean, what's behind me, right? I mean, the Poppy is just still selling. How did you probably, it's probably a good short story to tell the audience how the Poppy came to be, because I explain to people that is probably the best celebrity cigar I ever had, because it wasn't somebody who said, I'm a celebrity, I want to have a cigar, I want to work with you. It was a cigar that Poppy himself had made with you, not to sell originally, but to enjoy with his friends when they were off season, out on the yacht, playing golf, doing their thing, right?
Yeah. It was very organic, the process. So we've been sponsoring David Ortiz celebrity golf tournament every year for a while now, and he has a lot of passion on tobacco, and you can tell, like, every year the interaction with us was different, because he was every year learning something new. And we're talking that we saw him only maybe 3 times per year, and that's it, like on 3 straight dates actually, and in a party. That it's not that he's there just paying attention to us, but he was always next to the rolling table, asking the cigar roller, like, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do that? What is that glue? Everything. And so he was extremely curious and asking, like, I want to try different things. And one day I told David, like, hey, David, like, you should come to the factory, and let's blend together. You're curious, come to the factory, I'll show you around, and we can blend a cigar. He was like, oh, yeah, we should definitely do that. It was in a party. We were both getting a couple of drinks. So that was, for me, it was like, okay, that's a empty promise that will never happen, probably. But a couple of weeks after, I get a call from his assistant. Like, oh yeah, I'm calling him on behalf of David. He wants to know when is a good time for him to come to blend with you. I was like, now, why not? Is he close? So couple of days after he was in the factory, we started playing around with tobaccos. I gave him kind of the basics, like, this is seco, this is ligero, this is miso, these are all the kinds of wrapper, and anything he touched, we had somebody rolling a little pure grade cigar for him to try. We tried many different tobaccos, and we came out with the blend. A couple of weeks after, I sent him samples with different amounts of tobaccos, different varieties on the blend, and he picked one. He picked the size, 54 by 6, and after that, he was calling us every 1 or 2 months for him, trying to get a couple of hundred of cigars, just for himself, and to share with his friends. Obviously, during a game season, where the season was on, he was not smoking, basically, almost nothing at least. Then in his free time, he was smoking cigars all the time. And his father lives here in the Dominican. They meet every Thursday in his house. like the whole family, and that was the cigar they were smoking every Thursday, you know. And when the news came out that he was going to retire, is when I pitched him like, hey, we should start selling your cigars now. He liked the idea. We signed the agreement. We actually signed it during his last spring training game in the JetBlue ballpark in Fort Myers. When I went there and I went to the game, and when I see everybody wearing a Big Papi jersey, everybody with signs, "We're gonna miss you, Big Papi," I was like, "Oh my God, I knew this guy. You know, he's a celebrity, but this is insane." You know.
Yeah, well, he's a very loved baseball player, ex-baseball
Mm.
player. He's so good with the youth around the world. Generally loved. He's just one of those people that loved baseball, and it showed. Everything he did it was all he lived and breathed baseball, and it's great that he has this now on the side that it's something that just iconic for him.
Absolutely.
Last year you announced you're doing a rebranding now. El Artista, Tabacalera El Artista has been around a long time. Right. You've made you had some of your own cigars. They probably weren't the most popular cigars in the world at that time. They were not everywhere. All right. But there were other cigars you made that showed up in humidors around the country that a lot of people probably don't even realize that they were El Artista cigars, because you did you did a lot of cigars. Like, I know that chiming in here, Brian Lewis that just mentioned that the Connoisseur Club cigars that you made were so tasty and good and burned nicely too. Right? What was the Connoisseur Club? I might have had it because I was part of the Connoisseur Club for a while, for like a year. What was the blend on that Connoisseur Club? Do you remember?
So we have done it twice. The first one was a crazy blend that I was playing around with, and when Abe told me the concept of connoisseur, I was like, oh my God, this is a space, where I can try things. And yeah, probably I can do like a crazy idea and people is not gonna like it, but maybe yes, I'm always playing around. That first one, I think it was either Habano or Sumatra wrapper, and the most special thing, it was this crazy tobacco that we were playing with in the factory, that is traditionally used for andullo. For people that don't know what andullo is a Dominican way to ferment tobacco. It's mainly used on pipe and to chew. Is what our Tainos, our natives, used to consume before America was discovered.
Right, the Tiano Indians, right?
Yeah, the Taino. So we had this tobacco and we decided to do a special fermentation, not traditionally as andullo, but more a fermentation process close to what we do with the cigars. And it was crazy. It was like very, very thick leaf, tiny, but thick leaf. And it took us forever to ferment. That's when we realized, like, okay, this may or may not be good, but if it doesn't make any sense to do this on a regular basis because it's just expensive. A tobacco that ferments in 5 years, this one will probably take at least 7 or maybe 8 years for the fermentation process. For volume is not worth it. Tobacco trading is our main thing. So we had a couple of bales, just enough to make like 2,500 cigars, and I blend that cigar just for the Connoisseurs Club. And that was the cigar. I was freaking out. I was like, people are either going to hate it or love it. but we've been blessed with some very good comments on that one.
So pairing up with Smokin and Abe, especially with that cigar, did that move the needle for you a little bit, where people started to recognize who Artista Cigars was, and did that help move other product that Abe carried for you?
Oh yes, and we still get a lot of sales from in Ape stores, mainly with Buffalo 10. They do quite well over there.
Of the three blends in the Buffalo 10, which is the most popular?
Maduro, 100%. Maduro, then Connecticut, and then the natural.
All right. Okay. Now, when you rebranded, you went into this rebranding mode in 2022. So prior to that, it was El Artista, Tabacalera El Artista. This is what you did. And then you kind of branched off and created Artista Cigars with your own logo. Is that, and that's a separate entity from Tabacalera El Artista now?
Yes, it's always been a separate entity, but we wanted to give its own personality to Artista brand, and that was a dream I personally had in mind since I started in the industry. For me, Artista is a beautiful name and means a lot for me, for all of our team, for my family. So, but we never had a cigar with that name. Obviously, Tabacalera El Artista is a long ass name, and it's the name of the factory. Tabacalera is tobacco factory. So we had to come with something new. We play around with several options, and we end up keeping it simply Artista, and we are very happy. And for me, it was I'm very detail oriented, so I had to make sure, like everything was perfect. Something as little as how the leaves on the logo looks, it needed to look perfect. It really needed to look like tobacco leaf, and it had to be three, just to represent each generation of my family in the tobacco industry. Yeah, and I wanted something like that, something clean and beautiful that can last. Like not like a overly complicated logo that kind of gets boring after you see it for a while.
And then you included, so in here, you noted in your press release that, okay, so you've got Artista, Harvest and Midnight. You have Rugged Country, which is the Buffalo 10, the Cimarron, the Fugly. You had the Factory Classics, which are the older brands, right? The Polita, the Puro Amber, and the Exactus. You had the David Ortiz series. And then you have this thing called Artista Studio Works. Talk to me about Artista Studio Works, and what are you doing with that right now?
So originally, Artista Studio Works came as a way to support artists, and we released with two humidors, one for Buffalo 10 and one for Big Papi, that they were inspired on a painting that a local artist here in the Dominican Republic did for us. And when this idea of the branding came, one of the concerns that I had with my marketing team is like, hey, but now you're basically giving us like a guideline of what our brand should look like and what we should make, which is cool, because that's the way we want to go. But at the same time, we have a soul, and it's young, and it's focusing in many different things at the same time, and we like being creative. That's in our nature. So we decide to use that Artista Studio workspace for those things. And one of the first products that we released under the Artista Studio Work series was the Paperboy, which is a little cigar 4x44 that has a lot of value, long filler tobaccos, comes in Connecticut and Maduro wrapper. And it is a very, very good cigar at a very, very good price point as well. And basically there, we're going to have a space under the Artista Studio Work series to create little things like this. For me, that was a beautiful process creating this brand. The newspaper that we use as to make the bundle is actually a custom-made newspaper just for this project. And if anybody that speaks Spanish read the news, they are like the most random news that there is out there, and all of them are fake news. So basically, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the same, a bunch of fake news.
Let me take a break here. I'm going to go real quick, and we're going to go through the sponsors for today's show because we got to pay the bills. And
Absolutely.
then when we come back, I want you to talk to the people that might be interested if they're looking to have their own cigar brand. How do they connect with you, and what is the process you go through? And we'll dig into that a little bit to work with Tabacalera El Artista.
All right.
So today's show is brought to you proudly by. And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander. Did I share it wrong again? Be a family business. Hold on a second. Let me restart this. I do this all the time. I always share the wrong one.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Following in his father's footsteps, his son Juan Jr. continued with the family business, successfully expanding it until events which took place in 1959 forced a dramatic change. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera, Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars at their factory, Tabacalera, Las Lavas, in Santiago, Dominican Republic. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels.
Introducing Blackened Cigars, M81 by Drew Estate. A dark, bold, and unapologetic cigar collaboration.
My job is all about taste. So when Janus mentioned he wanted to create an exclusive cigar, I was stoked.
Like Metallica, Drew Estate has some of the most hardcore fans out there. I've known Rob Dietrich for years, and when he approached me to collaborate on this, we couldn't be more excited. I mean, Metallica, Black and Whiskey, and Drew Estate, what could be a better passion project? Needed to craft a cigar unlike anything in our portfolio.
One that would take cigar fans on the deepest, darkest, heaviest journey into the mystical world of Maduro.
Full-bodied with notes of espresso, leather, and dark chocolate. Blackened Cigars, M81 by Drew Estate.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy-to-smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the A.J. Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in 3 popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. And I'd like to thank my sponsors. Without them, it's always a little harder to do this show, but we do it anyway. So Tabacalera El Artista, it's probably the second factory I ever visited in my life. First one was Las Lavas with Casa Cuevas, who made something that you might be familiar with, the Swinger cigar.
Yeah.
Many people don't know this cigar, but my good friend and yours, little Ryan Gallimore.
I have a long time I don't see Ryan.
Ryan works with Drew Estate now. So he's
He's with Drew Estate.
Yeah. He does all the he runs all the swag for Drew Estate. So he found his dream job. He always wanted to work with Drew Estate. And he was able to land that job, and he is absolutely having a grand time. They're all down in Nicaragua right now at the big festival. But I remember going into your factory. So I go from the Las Lavas factory, which was really cool, right? I saw a lot of cool things. And then I came to your factory, and my mind was blown. Because you walk in, and first of all, you're not in the free zone. You're right there in the middle of Santiago. All right. You go into your factory, and I remember the most memorable thing in your factory was the mulling room, the mold, whatever that's called, right? Where you walk in and you open the door and the first thing in the morning, and you just breathe the ammonia. And anybody who's never seen or experienced that, you have to experience it. And then the rest of the factory with the upstairs with just rows and rows and stacks and bales of tobacco. So you do a lot of work for other companies. So if I was a small company, if I was starting a new tobacco cigar company, what is the process that somebody goes through? How do they contact Ram and say, "Hey, Ram, I want to do a cigar"? What's the process? How do they get involved?
Super simple. You can just call directly to the factory. You can hit us even on Instagram. Just tell us what you're looking for. We set a meeting, Zoom meeting is okay, a phone call or whatever, just to hear about, what's the idea that you have in mind. and see how can we help you. Basically, on the private label side, we have two ways. One is, you buy products out of our regular production. We have some blends that are meant for private labels, but not exclusively for one company. We have dozens and dozens of different blends, and we make sure that if you have that blend on your region, there's nobody else with the same cigar. Basically, maybe we manufacture that cigar for a private label in Europe, and you are based in Boston, so you guys won't collide. That's option A. The benefits of that one is faster process, and the minimums are lower. Then, if you want to have your own blend, which is always the best way to start in the business, we can blend it for you. But the best way to do it is for you to fly here to the Dominican Republic, spend a couple of days with me and my team in the factory, and we'll blend together and try to create something that fits what you're looking for. And of course, it will help you with the boxes, because we make our boxes through our company, a cigar box company, and we have relations basically with all the printing companies. So I usually like to inspect your artwork myself, because I already know what all the companies are capable of doing, and based on your artwork and your minimums, I can point you to the right direction or where to get the cigar bands.
Okay, so now, what is if somebody wanted to create a custom blend, right? What is the minimum first order that you would accept?
So the minimum is per size. So if you want a one size only, the minimum will be 10,000 cigars. But if you want to spread that amount in different sizes, you can do up to 4 sizes. So 2,500 cigars per size.
Okay. And
there
now,
are also minimums on the bands. You can make 10,000 bands, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense because of the toolings. So I always recommend to go to at least 25,000, because the price difference is just a couple of hundreds. And the boxes, the minimum is 200 boxes per size as well. So that's another thing that needs to be considered to the equation.
all right. So anybody that's listening, if you're looking to create your own cigar, this is one of the companies that I would definitely recommend that you go to, because they know what they're doing. If I was to ask you how many custom blends, not house blends, where they're picking them off the shelf, but are actually working with you, how many do you currently have in production right now?
That's tough.
Is it 50, 100?
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere between 80 to 100 something, like somewhere there. Let's put it at 100.
100 different companies?
Different blends, at least.
Blends.
Different
How many
companies? I'll say anywhere from like 30, maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere 30 to 40, I guess.
Right. So there are companies out there that are sitting on humidor shelves that are a brand that are made by Tabacalera Artista.
Yep.
All around the country.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
And Europe and Asia.
Europe, Asia, or worldwide.
Yeah.
Now, going back to some of your older blends, how is the blends like the Exactus and some of those others selling these days?
Not that well, honestly. We are actually putting all of our sales effort in Buffalo 10, in Cimarron, Puro Ambar, Big Papi, now Artista, of course. So they're still like regulars, but we're not even pushing those brands anymore. So they're just there. We love them. There are in some countries that actually, for example, Exactus sells quite well in Lebanon, for example. So yeah, it's they are around, and like for example, we stopped manufacturing 2 brands already. Got Your Six. That one, it was not because it was not moving. It was more because of the time it takes for you to put all the tiny pieces of wrapper on a cigar.
Oh, yeah, very artistic.
Yeah, with the high demand that we've been having, it's been just too complicated. Exactus Habano, we stopped manufacturing that one a couple of years ago, which I actually smoked one that we still have in the aging room last week. It's been aging very, very good. I don't have that many, but I was like, oh my God, this is good stuff.
So one of my viewers here, actually a couple of them. So Chris Colter says, one day I'll visit the factory, but not visiting to see the tobacco or the aging rooms. I just want to meet the people and smoke a cigar with the Artista Familia. Yes, you
don't stop, my friend.
You want to smoke, but you also want to hang out and play dominoes since you wanted to. There's a big dominoes family, the Artista family.
Sunday to Sunday, after 7 p.m., somebody's playing domino at the clubhouse in the factory. So that's an easy one, my friend.
Yeah, and that clubhouse.
No appointments are required for that.
That clubhouse is spectacular. So for those that are watching, when you walk into their clubhouse, which is on one of their small little experimental fields, I think you called it, right off the side, you walk in and all you see are trophies, your father's trophies, all
yeah.
Because your father is a championship dominoes player. Mind-blowing. I would love to sit down. I haven't yet sat down and played dominoes with him. I know he kicked my ass, but it would be fun to play with him. But when you do that, when you visit the family, they are the most loving family. They take care of you. You even have there's a bedroom. You actually have a room in that clubhouse that people can stay at if they visit and make appointments, right?
Yeah.
So there's something that if you're interested, if you're really into wanting to make a cigar, the hospitality is second to none. It is spectacular. Let's just see. Lou Piscatelli asks, do the companies promote that you are making the blends for them?
No, not really. So and honestly, I'll say 60 to 75% my blends, but it's more like a teamwork. We don't have a official master blender in the factory. We work as a group, and usually the process when we are making a blend is I sit down with the production manager. I tell him what I want. After a visit to my father's warehouses to try the tobaccos, and I give him the percentage. He comes with the cigars that he makes, and if we both agree that it's a cigar that is worth to continue investing time on, if it's a good blend, we continue playing around, tweaking it a little bit. Once we are ready, like, okay, this is the cigar. Then it goes to the smoking panel, which is a group where I'm part of the smoking panel. He also is, my father, a couple of cigar rollers. So a little bit of everybody in the organization. that knows about tobacco and knows how to smoke cigars. And we all give an opinion. And maybe I love the blend, but the whole panel is not convinced that it's a good blend. So maybe, we don't pull the trigger. We just ignore that one. So it's not like, oh yeah, it's I'm the blender, whatever. We don't work like that in the factory.
So we're coming up on TPE in a few weeks. Okay, you're gonna be there, right?
I'll be there.
Good.
The last day, but I'll be there.
I'll definitely see you. Hopefully there. Anything new coming out of El Artista?
So not for TPE. We had some delays with the Artista line. Supply chain issues. We were supposed to release the products officially on fall, but the shipment is gonna leave in about 2 weeks from now with our products. So that will be kind of a mild release. It's like, oh yeah, we talked about it already, but here it is. And for PCA, we're coming with a couple of new things, including a new product for Big Papi.
A new Big
It's
Papi.
the first time actually that I talk about it. But yeah, new Big Papi is coming.
Is it a small Big Papi?
It's not a small Big Papi. It's something special, something different. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
New
the
blend.
bands are ready. A new blend. Bands are ready. The blend is ready as well, and the cigars are being made right now as we speak.
But that's coming out of PCA.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, unfortunately, while you're all at PCA, I will be climbing this mountain, Mount Fuji. And I'll have to keep apologizing to my audience. You're going to see this on every show because I'm promoting this pretty heavily. We are climbing this mountain, my son and I, Dr. Dominic Viter and myself, and we are raising money for autism through a charity called Autism Speaks. So there's currently a campaign running from now until July where we are going to climb this mountain. And the way it works is whoever donates the most money to that charity, whether it be an individual, a group, a brand, an association, doesn't matter, they're going to get a photo taken of their brand, their flag, their T-shirt, whatever it is, with a cigar at the top of this mountain as the sun rises over Japan. Okay, that's the thing. And then the next 4 levels down, we're going to randomly pick anybody who donated. We're going to shout them out along the way, and the whole article, and there'll be video taken of this whole thing and an article that we're doing. So we're trying to raise as much money for autism through the cigar community, okay, to climb this mountain. Okay, so this is really near and dear to us. We really hope that people get behind this campaign. You could see this on the Stogie Press site. You can also see it pinned on the Boston Jimmie page. It's pinned right at the top. There's a link in there. You can click the link and go right to the charity and donate. None of that money I touch. It goes right into Autism Speaks. We all know somebody who's autistic. I think this is going to be a phenomenal thing as we go on. So we got about 6 months to raise a shitload of money for this, right from primarily from the cigar community. So if you're interested, please go out there and donate. That's my selfish plug for that. So we'll come back. So unfortunately, I won't be at PCA because I'll be climbing a mountain. well,
that's awesome. So I envy you. Can I join?
You come on over, man. It's just like, but my contribution, I threw in, I started it, I seeded it with $250 in the name of my son. We've raised almost $1,000 already. And it's been soft launched for 2 days. We're going to launch it more heavily at TPE. I'll be talking to everybody when I sit in their booth and talking to them about their cigars. At the end of the conversation, we'll talk about this. The idea is to see how much money we can get to raise, and any help anybody wants to push it out there and tell people, hey, go check this out. Boston Jimmie's doing something really, really good. Nobody in the industry, I think, has done this yet. I've seen people go to mountains and talk and be on a mountain from a helicopter, but we're actually going to climb a 13,000-foot mountain. And
That's awesome.
And it's called the Climb for Autism. So that's so it's going to be a lot of fun. So you got some new stuff coming out for PCA. That's exciting. We've talked a little bit about how people can get involved if they want to make a cigar. How's your dad doing?
He's doing fantastic. He's doing fine. The business on the tobacco side is been moving very, very quick, and it's been crazy. So yeah, tobacco trading, for the people that doesn't know, is our main business, and my father is the one that takes care of that. The relationship with the farmers, with our own farms as well, the operations in Ecuador as well, and the business relationship with all the factories. We sell to almost everybody in the industry, almost. And yeah, I mean, it's been crazy at a point where yeah, the stocks are going down very quick, which is not something that I'm very used to, because my father is very aggressive with our tobacco inventory. We have in total around 35 warehouses of tobacco. We have eaten 50% of that in less than 2 years, which is quite a lot. That's a lot of tobacco, my friends. So yeah, he's been busy. Today I was with him every Saturday around 11:30. I have a meeting with him. Today I left around 2 p.m. Because he was waiting for a couple of containers to arrive from Ecuador today, full of tobacco. So yeah, it's just crazy times to be in this industry.
I'm reading the comments. So my buddy Lou, man, I love Lou. Lou Piscatelli made a couple comments. One, he goes, how cool would it be for Boston Jimmie holding a big poppy box of cigars at the top of Mount Fuji?
That's truth.
That would be insane.
Oh yeah.
He also asked the question, which I'm glad he asked, because I was about to ask the same thing. What is the main tobacco that you sell?
Right now, fillers is what's hot, what's been moving around. Criollo 98, Habano 99, which is Corojo, and Piloto are like the three most popular ones. On a fourth place is probably Olor Dominicano. And on the wrapper, Corojo wrappers, Corojo and Sumatra, Ecuador. Those ones, they are in and out, in and out, in and out. They just move very fast.
Now, you have farms in Ecuador too?
Yeah, we have farms in Ecuador.
Okay. Now, I want to make sure that I've been saying things correctly to people, and I'm going to go right to you, the source. So if a cigar is made in the Dominican Republic, all cigars that are sold out of the Dominican must have at least some percentage of Dominican tobacco in it.
Legally, no.
No.
Actually, no.
No.
Based on the free trade zone laws here, there are some other commodities that are required to have tobaccos from the Dominican Republic. Not tobacco, I'm sorry. Have something grown here in the Dominican Republic, but with tobacco, there's no limit. You can do like 100% foreign tobacco, and it's been handmade in the Dominican Republic officially, anyways.
All right. Now, what's the difference between where you are in the non-free trade zone and the free trade zone? What's the rules between those two?
So like where we are, that looks like it's not a free trade zone, is what is called here a special free trade zone. So that is actually a free trade zone, but the building is legally bonded, like it's kind of like a bonded space. And a free trade zone here in this country is a extra territorial space where anything can be imported freely and exported freely. So if you sell something from a free trade zone in the Dominican Republic, the commercialization is not considered to be in the Dominican Republic. It's kind of weird, but it's, let's say when you are when you arrive from an international flight to back to the United States, in the moment where you leave the plane and go to pass through customs, in that particular moment, you are not in the United States officially because they haven't stamped your passport.
Right.
So more or less that's what a free trade zone is. So we have a lot of benefits. We don't have to pay duties when we import goods. We don't have to pay taxes in the Dominican Republic. So no, what you guys have as a state tax, VAT, in most of the countries, we don't have to pay that when we buy anything. And when we export, there are no taxes for us to do the exportation. And since we have a customs office in our facilities, all the documentations are done right at the spot. So they close the container, they seal all the documents. It doesn't have to pass through anything. It goes straight to the boat to depart the country. And we can do business from one free trade zone to another free trade zone, and it's not considered a commercialization in the country. But if I want to sell to somebody, like let's say that I want to sell to a cigar shop here in the Dominican Republic, they have to import the product inside the Dominican Republic. As crazy and complicated that sounds.
Right.
So they will need an import license and they will need to pay taxes for that.
Now, do you have your cigars in shops in the Dominican?
We do. What we do is that we don't sell direct. We have a distributor. The distributor handles all the importation and he sells directly by himself.
Okay. Now, when people go visit the Dominican Republic, and I have people ask me this question because they go, "Oh, I'm going down to the Dominican. I want to go visit factories," you know, and they're going to be in like they're going to be in a resort on the ocean. Okay. Are there factories in those areas, or are they really just shops that they would be visiting?
They mainly will be shops with some cigar rollers at the spot. Okay. But in none of the tourist destinations, there are like big factories. There are a couple of regular, like good sized factories in Santo Domingo, which is not really like a tourist hotspot here. But all the factories are located here in the Cibao Valley, which is right in the heart of the island, right in the center, with the exception of Tabacalera de Garcia, that they are in a tourist destination. They are in La Romana, right next to Casa de Campo.
Okay.
The only exception.
Now, another question I hear from people, and I've explained to them that things have changed in the Dominican over the years. There's a new road that goes into Santiago, the highway that goes all the way to the beaches. How long does it take to go to the more popular resort destinations from Santiago now?
So the most popular resort destination will be Punta Cana, and that's still a little bit far. It's around 350 miles. So around 4 hours and a half to 5 hours. But now you have to go through the main highway that starts here in Santiago and ends in Santo Domingo, the biggest city. But then you have to cross Santo Domingo, like through regular roads, and do the same with Boca Chica, San Pedro, like a lot of big cities on the east side of the island. Now there is only like one straight drive through a highway, so it's way easier. It used to be like 6 hours before, 6 to 7 hours. Then we have Puerto Plata. Puerto Plata is around like an hour, 10 minutes, more or less. They are building a new highway that is gonna pass through the mountains. And from the highway that's around Santiago, you're gonna connect to them. And from that point to Puerto Plata is only gonna be 25 to 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be like super, dude. I can't wait. Honestly, I'm even thinking about like, hey, maybe I should just live there and commute every day to the factory. Like, why not?
Right? I mean, that way you
My
don't
wife
have to,
hates the idea, but yeah.
that way you don't have to deal with the Coca-Cola stop signs.
Yeah.
You got to explain that to people. When I tell people about my experiences in the Dominican, is the stop signs are Coca-Cola signs. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing actually, because you have the stop sign and then a sign of Coca-Cola on top. They put billboards on the stop sign here. So it's either that or
Exactly.
Brugal. You know,
And ain't nobody pays attention to them anyway. They just beat the horns.
who cares about that? Yeah.
What is what is your favorite rum in the Dominican?
Oof. Don't open that rabbit hole, my friend. Right now, my favorite rum is probably Bermúdez Don Armando Reserva. It's called. Used to be a very big rum house here. They lost popularity in the 90s. My theory is that since they're not selling that much, they have a lot of very old barrels and they are releasing that, because that rum, my friend, is just out of this world. But there are ways, so there are dozens of different rum house brands here that are really, really making good stuff here, man.
Now, would you say that the rum business is bigger or smaller than the cigar business?
Oh, it's bigger. It's bigger for sure. Oh, yeah. Here we have Brugal. Brugal is the top-selling rum in Europe. In Spain, for example, Brugal is on top of almost, like it's super popular. I remember that I saw Jack Daniels, for example, is like number 6, while Brugal was number 2. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. And all the bars in Madrid, they're always full of signs of Brugal all over the place. They drink Brugal in Russia, at least they used to. Russia, Europe, all Central and South America. So it's a big company. Same with Barceló. Barceló is huge. Bermúdez is doing a lot of private labels that are spread out there. And there are a lot of smaller rum houses that are making like boutique brands that they are really killing it. I remember the only thing that I saw that was made in the Dominican Republic in Australia on my trip over there was a bottle of Ron Matusalén. I was like, what the hell is this doing here? You know? And they were, oh, yeah, that's a very good rum. I was like, okay, shit, I'll get that. Little bit of my island.
So do you get over to Spain in that area often?
Yeah, I love Madrid, my friend. It's such a beautiful city. Yeah,
I'm going to be going
city.
to in 2 weeks from now. I'm actually going to Majorca and Portugal to Lisbon. I've got a wedding to go to in Lisbon. We're spending a week before that in Majorca, and then we're heading over to Lisbon for the wedding. So,
nice.
Ever been to Lisbon?
No, I've been only in Portugal. I only been to Porto. Which is the second city. Yeah, beautiful ass place. Lisbon, try their seafood. Overall, is good over there in Portugal.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, their bacalhau.
Bacalhau?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a kind of fish. I don't. There's probably bacalhau in the States. just don't know the name.
Is it a cod or something like that? Or
and you know what is good there? I think it's cod. I think bacalhau is cod. But you know what is very good? They're sardines.
I heard
they have
that.
Like fresh sardines, but they kind of like roasted in wood, It's delicious. Very,
Yeah,
very good.
because sardines in America is like the stuff you open up the can, you roll a little.
Exactly,
It's like
exactly.
nasty
And it
looking
tastes like
stuff.
sardine. That one, they don't. Those ones don't taste like sardines.
Wow.
Sardines, their olives are very good. Same in Spain.
Okay. Yeah, I'm planning on having quite a bit of travel articles written on Spain and Portugal when I come back. I'm looking forward to it.
If you are a foodie, you're gonna have a blast in both countries.
Well, the fun part is I just discovered that when we're there, it's Carnival.
Oh yeah, nice.
So it should add a little extra dimension to my trip for sure.
Yeah.
So let's do a little lightning round. Quick question answers. What's your favorite music these days?
Rock. I love rock. Latin American rock, Hispanic rock, and English rock as well.
What's your favorite band?
Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Dave Grohl, man.
Yeah. I play the drums because of Dave Grohl, actually.
Wow.
I grew up listening to Nirvana, and I was like, ooh, this skinny guy, is killing those drums. So I decided to learn the drums.
Cool. How big's your drum set?
So I used to have a drum set in my home office. Now my home office is my older son's room. So right now I don't have any drum set, but I'm building a cigar lounge, like a private cigar lounge, and I'm buying a new drum set and I'm gonna put it there. Mine I donated to a music school here.
Oh, okay. What are you streaming these days? Got anything fun you've been watching?
So I saw what is the name of 1888? It's like a cowboy series.
Oh, you
of,
like the cowboy stuff, like the Cimarron. Yeah.
I do actually. I do actually. Yeah, and honestly, I didn't knew I did until I discovered about the movie Cimarron. And I watched that movie. I was like, oh, this is, let's keep it going. That series was about a family going from Fort Worth through the Oregon Trail with the dream of hitting Oregon. They end up in Montana, and it's a prequel of a series that is called Yellowstone. And now I'm watching that one, Yellowstone. I had no idea about it, and it's very good, so I'm watching it.
All right.
Yeah.
What was it like for you growing up as Radhames Rodriguez Jr.?
I can't complain at all, honestly. The things that didn't make sense for me when I was a kid make a lot of sense now. And even more now that I have kids. I have a 2-year-old and an 8-month. And now I kind of want to do the same with them, I was never forced to be in this industry. But there was, like some gentle push towards it. And I was the kid because the factory is in kind of in the suburbs. It's called Tamboril. So all my friends and all my relationships was always in the city center. So I was that guy that lives very far from the city. And when I was a kid, it was hard, not being able to hang out with my friends all the time. As I was missing a lot of things. But now, for example, Tamboril is my roots. And like, for example, here in my house, I can see Tamboril from here. And when I wake up, the first thing I see, like, hey, how's my little town doing? So, but other than that, yeah, it was great, man. It was great. I'm so blessed to be Dominican, be part of something that is a passion, not only for me and my family, but for thousands of people in the world. So
Millions.
Yeah, I mean, it's millions actually, millions. Yeah. So yeah, I'm blessed and happy, my friend.
So you're up in the mountains.
So no, I actually I have a, hold on, let me show you my view. How do I do this? How do I flip the camera here? Oh, here it is. Maybe you're gonna be able to see it, maybe not.
Oh,
I
wow.
live in a, yeah. So this is Tamboril right here. The factory should be somewhere around here. Our sorting facility somewhere around there. And that very bright light over there, that's Mocha. We have another sorting facility over there as well. And this is my beautiful city.
Now, now where are you in relationship to Camp David?
Camp David is right here.
Oh, okay, on the other side.
Yep.
Okay.
This is kind of, let's say, midtown. Like this is very close to the city center.
Okay. Now, what is your favorite food truck in Santiago? Because I love the food trucks in Santiago.
Okay, so there's this little, you like mofongo?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hey,
So there's this
please
food
explain to
truck.
people what mofongo is, that those that may not know. It's a funny name. but
Mofongo is a fried plantains with fried pork with a lot of skin, so it's kind of crunchy. You know, it's like chewy
Kinda like
for
bacon.
the plantains. Yeah, and then crunchy with the chicharrón. And you eat it. They give you like a little bit of chicken broth that you throw it over it, and a little bit of pico de gallo, like chopped tomatoes. Delicious. So Porcao, when you're here, I'll take you to Porcao.
All right.
Best mofongo in town.
I'll definitely do that. And there's a good chance that I will be in Santiago in March. It's probably right now I'm at a 70% chance based on work schedules and ability to take time off, because I think I'm coming in with Francisco for his factory, because you know he built a new factory now, and he's finally bringing the tour back down to go to the factory. And whenever we're there,
Nice.
we always end up at your place somehow.
Yeah.
We end up going there. So hopefully I'll be there in March. I'm trying to make sure I could pull that trigger and be able to get time off from work to go do that. It'll be one of those extended weekend kind of things. So awesome. Well, that's the show, man. I mean, I think we covered a lot tonight. You have any comments? You have anything you want to talk about? Things I didn't talk about?
Well, not that much other than saying thank you, man, to you. You've been around and paying a lot of attention to us since the beginning, since we started our little project of making boutique cigars for the United States. And I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for smoking El Artista. To everybody watching this right now, thank you. Follow us on Instagram and all the social media. We are Artista Cigars. And thank you for smoking Artista.
And I'll just say in closing here, your friend of mine, Jeff Slatt, you know Jeff.
Yeah.
So Jeff Slatt says to tell Ram that the paper boys are going on my great value list of sticks.
Oh, look forward to it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Jeff's a good guy, man. Anybody has paid the Jeff stuff, check out Jeff Slatt. He does some fun stuff. Hopefully I'll see Jeff at TPE. So I will see you. I'm sure we're going to run into each other there. I mean, you are having a booth there, right?
Yeah. We are in the boutique pavilion this year again. Me personally, I'm only going to be there the very last day. So hope to see you, man.
Well, Kevin will be there, right?
Yeah. Kevin will be there.
Okay. So awesome. So I'll definitely stop by and see everybody, and we'll get our party on and whatever it is we do at Vegas, and we'll keep it at Vegas, most of it.
I will looking for your hat because it's gonna be hard to recognize you, my friend.
I'll come by the booth. It'll be easy to recognize me.
Yeah.
Just look for the thin guy.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you again. I'm so glad we were able to reconnect this year. It's always fun to have you on the show, catch up on what you're doing. Again, like Ram said, check out El Artista, check out Artista Cigars. If your shop doesn't carry them, man, talk to them. Say, hey, man, pick them up. Buffalo 10 is a big seller, man, and it's an easy sell. It's a great cigar at an economical price. Definitely check that out. Please, again, one more time, I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record, but check out the Climb for Autism if you get a chance. I tell people it's real simple. You go to a shop, you're buying cigars, forego one cigar. If everybody foregoed one cigar and dropped $10 into that charity, into that campaign, by June, we could probably raise $100,000 for autism. Simple as that.
Oh yeah.
It's not hard. No, I'm not asking for thousands and thousands of dollars per individual. I'm just looking for small amounts, but the little small amounts grow if everybody gets behind it. So I'm going to keep pressing this. Ram, thank you very much for coming on, taking your evening. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for the sponsors. Next week we're going to have Renee from Villiga Cigars on. That should be a fun show. I've been wanting to get Renee on for a while, so we're going to catch up on what Villiga is doing these days. With that, I'm going to call the show. You all have a great night, and we'll catch you next week on Taking It to the Nub. Okay, we are no longer live.
All right, man. Good show.
So, yeah, my show, when the good thing about my show, and I've gotten all these interesting comments over the years. This is our 4th season doing this, and what I hear from people is I have a completely unscripted show. You get so many shows, and you've been on them. They've got like a list of questions.
Yeah.
And I try to just roll with the guest, right? You say something and that triggers something in my head, and we just flow. And they say it's so genuine, both from me and from the guests, that we just kind of roll with it. And and it's more about you than it is about me. Right now, it's about I will always plug my little Fuji tour, but it's important. But other than that, it's always good. So you're fantastic.
So quick question: have you ever had a guest that you ask him something and he's like, yes?
Yeah. I've had some guests that don't open up, and that becomes, it's a little bit of a challenge. Those are far and few between, because most people, you're easy, okay, because you take breaths. Right? There are some people that I ask them a question, I ask them an ice-breaking question, and they go on for a 10-minute soliloquy, and
yeah.
I can't, there's so much to unpack in that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be rude, but sometimes I got to stop it and just move the conversation continuously and dig into certain points that they bring up. And sometimes those ones are more difficult than the ones that just go, yeah, because I can always ask a question and then say,
well, that's true.
Because they like to talk. Most people like to talk about what they're doing, what their brand is. They want to let the people know who they are. And that makes it easy. But yeah, there are some that are a little quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be down there. If I get down there in March, man, we'll definitely get together.
I have no plans for March. It's my grandmother's 100th birthday.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
bless her.
So Yeah, for real, for real. And yeah, I'm gonna be in town because all my family are traveling. I have
Okay.
some family that lives in Florida, so and they're coming. So I'm just gonna be around the whole month.
Yeah, so we're looking. The dates right now are Friday, March 3rd. I think some people come in on the 2nd, but there's no way I can leave on the 2nd. So I would probably have to leave on the 3rd, and then I come back on the 6th. So it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I leave on Monday. So it's kind of one of those extended weekends to go down. But I've been my problem. I told Francisco, I said I really want to do this. But the problem is I'm leaving for Portugal. Here's the fun thing. I leave for Portugal on the 10th of February. I land in Portugal on I leave on the 10th. I get there on the 11th. And we stay overnight in Portugal. We fly to Mallorca on the 12th. We're in Mallorca from the 12th to the 16th. We fly back to Portugal for this wedding I've got on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then I fly back on the 21st. Now, here's where the fun comes. I land in Orlando on Tuesday at 7:30 at night. I have a rental car. I drive back home, drop my wife off. I already have a bag half packed. I have to wash my jeans and clothes, pack, get back in the car. I have a 5:30 a.m. flight out of Orlando
Oh
to
my,
Vegas.
yeah,
Right. And then I land in Vegas at 10:30 in the morning on the 22nd, and the show starts at noon.
yeah. Oh my, that's
Well,
crazy, man.
I've told, and that's the night that the first night is the all industry party, right? So I have already told people, I said, I don't drink a lot anymore like I used to, but when you see me, I'll have 1 or 2 drinks in me, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be so tired when by the end of that day that I probably won't make it through the whole night. I said
yeah,
I'm not gonna
yeah,
be able to do it, and then get up, and then we just go on from there. And then of course, there's all these after parties and all this stuff everybody wants to go to, and it's like,
yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
but it'll be fun. It's you
Absolutely,
got to do it,
absolutely.
got to figure it
Yeah,
out.
and honestly, so it's during Pro Cigar, and I have a lot of people that are visiting me for during the Pro Cigar Fest, and I was going to be for the whole show, but there's this customer from Austria that was only able to meet with me on the 22nd. So I'm meeting with him on the 22nd. On the 23rd, I'm going there. On the 24th or 25th, I'm flying to Salt Lake City and meet with my family there to go to Park City.
Do a little skiing.
Yeah, a little bit of skiing. I look forward to it. Yeah.
I've never been. That's one place I haven't been to yet is Park City, but
it's beautiful, man.
Of course, my wife
place.
and I have been studying Portugal quite heavily, just to figure out what we're doing when we get there. But we also discovered the fact that retirement in Portugal seems really easy.
That's been trendy. Yeah, and a lot of people is becoming kind of the hot destination in Europe right now.
It's the easiest route into Europe right now, they say. You can, as an American, like if I sold my house, like I retire in 2 years, right? So when I'm 60, so I'm 63, I'll be 65 in 2 years. And if I sold my house and I would have enough with the sale of the house in 2 years, that if you buy a property in Portugal for $500,000, you get what's called a golden visa.
Yeah.
As one of the mechanisms in this golden visa thing, $500,000 property investment. And you get a 1-year visa, and then you renew it for 2 years, and then you renew it for 2 years. So it takes 5 years. And After 5 years, you got to obviously take a language test, which should be easy if you've been living there for 5 years. I should be able to speak some level of Portuguese at that point. Then you get residency, right? And we're like, I looked at the prices in Portugal. I mean, it's really inexpensive compared
really
to the
is.
rest of Europe, you know. And
Yep.
we're like, and it's cheaper than living in America, and you got great health care, right? You get all of that, and I'm like going, why don't we just move to Portugal when we retire? And then because she loves Paris, and I go, we could take weekend jaunts to Paris. I mean, that's
Oh
just,
yeah,
that's just like an app.
And-
That's like a Ryanair airplane ride or whatever.
exactly. That
you know.
like 60 euros round trip. You know.
Yeah, you want to
That's
go.
how
to
I
Paris
end up
for a
in
weekend.
Portugal. Actually, when I went there, that's how I end up. So that was in my college years. I had a girlfriend. She's Italian, and her family was living in Madrid. So we go and visit her family, and we were like, hey, like we should have a weekend trip somewhere. We entered to one of these shitty European cheap flights website, and we, like from Madrid to anywhere, and we filter by price. Okay, Porto, 45 euros round trip. Let's go.
I mean, it's so easy to travel around, and if you're a resident, you can go anywhere in the Eurozone.
It's like 20 something countries. Yeah.
You just, if I want to go to Italy for a week, you go to Italy for a week.
It's that easy.
It's kind of like flying from Florida to New York. It's like
exactly
whatever.
Yeah, it's a domestic flight,
and it's like a domestic flight. So
yeah.
So we're going to be looking at the lay of the land whether we've already looked at real estate, and I found some amazing places. Like if you get out of Lisbon, like Porto is cheaper than Lisbon, right? You can also go, I forget the name of the town, the city, which is right on the southern part of Portugal, where the Atlantic starts to move into the Barrick Sea. Okay. That little part down there, there's a interesting little city there, which is even less expensive. And there was like for a $500,000, you get like a flat, but it is 3 bedrooms, 3 baths with a big balcony overlooking a city. I'm just like, I could do this.
Yeah, it sounds tempting, man.
Now I got grandkids here, but you know what? What better gift can I give my grandkids? Because my grandkids are like, my grandson's 12. By that time, he's going to be 15, right? My granddaughter is 8, right? She'll be like 10, right? It'll be like, just fly them over to Portugal for the summer.
Yeah.
I'll take them for the whole summer, man. We'll just hang out with Pop, and we'll just like go travel around Europe together.
That sounds fun, absolutely.
Instead of me coming up for a week or two and hanging out, in Jacksonville, Florida, with the same old bullshit every day. Give them some real culture.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome, brother.
It's on the radar screen somewhere over here. It's not in the center yet. I still have to manage it all, but we'll see. It could be the thing I do, and why not? I've been all over the United States, and I've been all over the world, but I know my wife loves Europe, so just find a way to make the wife happy. I can live anywhere.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's that.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Well, my friend, time for me to go downstairs to give a good night kiss to the kids.
Yeah, man, you little ones, man, they're gonna grow up fast, brother.
They are already, man. My 2-year-old already talks, and it's kind of shocking, like, dude, come on, I've been wiping your ass all this time, and you're just making weird noises. And now you're telling me that you don't want the pizza anymore, that you rather get something else that you want to cook it? Like, what the hell is going
He
on?
wants the mofongo, man. Come on.
Yeah.
He wants the good stuff.
He loves mango,
Oh,
smashed
okay.
plantains. Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
Papi, quiero mango.
Of course. Why not? Good for him.
I feel pride, you know. I feel the national anthem in my head when he's, you know, getting that scoop of mango in there. I'm like, yeah, Quisqueyanos valientes.
That's good. That's good. And he's and well, what is his name?
Gael.
Gael. So where does that name
Gael.
come from?
That is actually Celtic.
It's Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic name.
It's an Irish
my,
name.
It's an Irish name, actually. I completely forgot the meaning of it, but I remember it's Celtic. My younger one, his name is Mauro.
Okay.
Yeah. That one is Latin. It's a Latin name.
Yeah. So my name when I was in when we took a trip to Ireland about 5 years ago, I drove my wife crazy. My great grandmother was from Ireland. She was Irish, and her last name was Callahan. Now my last name, most people don't know my last name in this industry because they know me as Boston Jimmie, but my last name is Vita. Okay, so it's Italian on my father's side. All right, but my great grandmother on my father's side was a Callahan. So when we went to Ireland, I said my name because James in Celtic is Seamus. So I said my name the whole time we're in Ireland is Seamus Callahan. And I was driving her nuts. You know, I introduced myself and I said, "Hi, my name is Seamus." And they're like, "Oh, Seamus. Oh, what's your last name?" "Oh, Callahan." She's looking at me going, "Oh my God. You know, give him another Irish whiskey and a Guinness, man."
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Have you been to Ireland?
Never been to Ireland. It's on the bucket list for sure.
You need to go to Ireland, man. That is
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
I think that is my wife loves France, but I absolutely fell in love with Ireland when I was
Yeah.
there. The greener,
I've never
the
been-
green.
Yeah, to any of the UK of Ireland because my passport is Dominican, so I need a visa, and it's not Schengen like the whole EU, and it's such a pain in the ass to having to go to Santo Domingo to apply for the visa. I'm like I'll go someday, you know. But I want to
Oh
go
yeah,
to Scotland to
unless
to
you
England.
go to Northern Ireland.
No, Northern Ireland. Ireland is part of the UK, and Ireland is part of the EU, but it's not Schengen.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
so
not Schengen. Oh, it's not
it's
Schengen.
not Schengen. Yeah, it's
I
not
didn't know
Schengen.
that. Really?
Yeah. It's I think the only territory that is EU but not Schengen. I think it's the only one.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's good to know. See, I learn something every day.
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks.
that sucks. That really does, man. But it is what it is.
So you get a visa, but you go there, you're not going there for more than 90 days. So
Yeah. It's I just need to apply for it, but that means like I'm usually not the kind of people that overthinks my trips. Like 1 month ago, I had no idea I was going to Park City, for example. Yeah. So, it's like, okay, we're going there in 6 months. So I need to book the appointment. I need to get all the fucking paperwork. I need a letter from the bank, a letter from my insurance company, a letter, blah, 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 all these fucking documents.
yeah, you
It's
guys
kind of
got a little
overwhelming.
different. That's weird because so that's interesting because I mean I could go to the Dominican. I get 90-day visa going to Dominican.
Yeah, but for me to go to the States, I need to apply for the visa. And for example, now during the holidays, my visa was going to expire like February 15 next year. This year,
Okay.
I'm sorry. So in December, I had to do all the paperwork, which is quite simple because it's a renewal. And the good thing with the US is that they give you 10 years. So I just need to fill a form and
So you get
I
a
went
10-year
there.
visa and then
Yeah.
you have a maximum of 90 days every year.
So in the US, there's 6 months is the limit.
Oh, you could come here for 6 months at a clip?
I can go up to 6 months. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's crazy. So yeah, and that's the funny thing, the US is one of the easiest country if you get the visa, because they give you 10 years. Usually, like in Europe and in other countries, you apply you're going on a trip for 2 days, they give you a visa for the 2 days. For the US, they usually is like, yeah, fuck it, we don't want you coming to the US office so often. So here you go, 10 years for you.
Yeah.
And when they stop you, the D10, I think it is called the form, it's usually 6 months that they give you. Yeah. But if you stay 6 months, when you renew or when you come back, they will be asking, like, what the fuck were you doing here for 6 months? Yeah.
I'm in the cigar business.
Yeah.
I was visiting my clients.
Yeah, I was a smoking cigar.
I was smoking cigars and selling cigars and providing income to the United States. That's the simple as that. All right, I'm gonna let you get back to your family. It's a pleasure. I hope I do get over there in March to see you, because I'll be there and we'll figure it out.
If you don't come, I'll go to see you. So
There
don't
you go.
worry
You come
about
to
that.
You got family in Florida, so come.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're in Florida. Florida. Where are they in Florida? In Miami or?
They are in Naples.
Oh, on the other coast. Okay.
Yeah.
They
You're
weren't
close
affected.
to Orlando,
How
right?
did how did Ian affect them?
They were not affected locally.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You are in, what's the name of this town?
I'm in
This is
Melbourne.
close to Orlando. Melbourne.
I'm in Melbourne. Yeah, right on the.
It's like an hour, right?
I'm an hour from Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, all right, Jimmy. Good talking to you, my friend, and see you soon and safe travel. Enjoy Europe.
I will. You'll see pictures, and then
Drink
you'll
a
see
pop.
and then you'll see pictures and video of Mount Fuji.
Yeah. Look forward for that too.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. All right, man. Have a
Yeah.
good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye, my friend.
Bye bye.